Hey guys, so tonight we're going to be making some Thai fried rice using leftovers. So the first thing you want to do is get your pan or your wok, in my case the Chrissy Teigen wok that I just bought and have to use for everything now. You want to heat it up, add your oil, make sure it gets nice and hot. Okay, so once your oil is nice and ready, what you're going to do is throw in some chopped onions. Now I use fairly large onions because a member of the household doesn't exactly like onions, so it makes it easier for them to be picked out. But chop them however you want. Just you want those onions to make sure you have plenty of flavor. Saute, stir them around. You know, like you see street vendors do, or at least what I've seen on the Food Network. So as you can see here, I used a chopped white onion, but then I added some red onion because I just think in Thai food that red onion adds a lot of flavor. So I had half of one in the fridge and I decided to throw that in. So once you got some pretty decent color on the onions and you stirred them around over and over and over again like I've been doing throughout this video, what you're going to do is you're going to add some fresh chopped ginger fresh minced garlic. And I started off with 3 Thai chilies just to be safe. You'll see later that I add a little more, but as you can see, that's all fresh chopped. Throw that in. You might want to adjust your temperature because you don't want to burn your garlic. We all know, at least everybody should know by now, burnt garlic turns bitter, so you don't want that. And this you got to stir around and keep it going because you don't want anything to burn at this point. Alright, so once you get some good color on that and you think it's sauteed well enough, excuse the horn, somebody honking, the neighbors. Anyway, you want to add 3 eggs, and the reason I'm adding 3 eggs because I read in the recipe the suggestion was 1 egg per person, so there's 3 of us dining, so I put in 3 eggs. I didn't whip them up first, I'm just going to scramble in the pan, let them sit for a minute, and then get your scrambling going. Alright guys, so once you think your eggs are well scrambled, not overly scrambled, but just on the verge, suggestion was about 70% scrambled, but I just went for it because then I'm going to add my cooked rice, which was a jasmine rice that I used the night before. So I didn't want to waste it. I didn't want to make a whole new meal tonight, so I just decided to use this. What you want to do, as you'll see me try to do, you see it's rather lumpy when it comes out, but what you want to do is try to break it up as much as possible. I used a fork to see if I could break up as much as possible, and then the spatula. Suggestion was that you try to flatten some of the lumps and then mix them around, so I did my best. First time, so give it a try. Alright guys, so once you get everything nice and scrambled, what you want to do is add your sauce in this case, and I highly recommend that you use a good quality fish sauce. I've become addicted to it since I started using it, and no Thai food is going to taste the same without fish sauce. So that was about a third of a cup of fish sauce and about a third of a cup of soy sauce mixed together, and then I poured that in and just mix it around a bit. So what I'm adding now is the ground chicken that we used last night for the PF Chang's lettuce wraps, or at least my version of the PF Chang's lettuce wraps. And mix that in. It's out of the fridge, so you want to mix it well enough to basically just reheat it. You don't have to cook it that much. It's not going to make a difference. It was already cooked the night before. If you're using fresh chicken, then I would have done that first, sauteed it, and then taken it out, and then taken all the rest of the steps, and then added at this point. I'm sure it wouldn't be any different with shrimp or anything else you wanted to do. Just add it separately, and then put it back in once you get the rice to this point. So at this point, you don't have to do what I just did, which was try to show off my sauce flipping or my pan flipping skills, which, you know, obviously was a fail. I've done better. Anyway. So at this point I'm adding some red pepper flakes. Take it easy because it can get really spicy really quick. Just kind of pace yourself as you're going through, taste it for spiciness. After that, you're going to see that I'm going to add some toasted ground rice, which once you make it and you go to the trouble of making it, you're going to want to use it probably in every Thai dish. You just roast rice in a dry pan till it gets nice and toasty, and then you have to grind it and grind it and grind it to this powder. And the purpose, from what I gather, is kind of add a bit of a roasted flavor, obviously, but then it adds a little bit of a crunch too, which is nice, especially if you're going to make Thai larb or something of that sort. Anyway, that was next. So at this point, what I'm going to go ahead and add is a dark soy glaze. And basically that's just going to add a little bit of color to the rice. It does add some sweetness. It's almost like a soy molasses, but it really does goes a long way in flavor and color. So you might want to try that. So at this point, once your rice is fairly browned, everything's fairly cooked. Now it's just a matter of adding your fresh herbs, which in this case I chopped up some fresh mint leaf, and then I threw in some Thai basil, which I'm proud to say I grew in my own garden, specifically for this reason, because I planned on starting to try to make some Thai dishes. And after testing it for spiciness, the hubby said it didn't have enough kick, so I added 2 more Thai chilies. So at this point we have 5 Thai chilies in there, as well as the red pepper flake. So it's definitely not going to be lacking in any spice. At this point, we're pretty much done. So I'm just going to add some of the typical garnishes that I'm accustomed to when going to any Thai restaurant. Generally, cross-cut Roma tomatoes, and then my latest obsession, which you'll see shortly, are microgreens. In this case, they're going to be cilantro microgreens, which are amazing. You can find them at Sprouts Market, probably any farmer's market. Microgreens are all over the place, and you can find them pretty much anywhere now, but amazing amount of flavor and just very different from regular cilantro leaves or any other herbs you would use for cooking. Intense flavor, small, and make any dish look really good. Of course, by now you must know that I'm all about presentation, so yeah, I'm gonna do some bit of overkill and throw some bean sprouts on top of the tomato garnish and the microgreens. But you know, it makes for a nice presentation, and everything came out amazing. I served this with some lime wedges, which you have to have if you're having any Thai food, but it really just topped it off. And any other spicy gum, we use a garlic chili sauce as well, just to kick up that spiciness. But yeah, that's it. Oh, and of course, a little more mint, because you can never have enough garnish. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed.